If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And tonight, it's a little bit different. You are here to see a live watch party when it comes to the final episode of the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, Season 1. And to do that with me, I have Brandon Sanderson. Brandon, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Thanks, Matt. Or should I call you the Innkeeper?
Oh,
yes.
You
thanks.
did. You gave me that name. So
Thanks, Innkeeper. And for my channel, which this is also live streaming on, this is Matt Hatch, my good friend, and we met 15 years ago-ish in Wheel of Time fandom after I was named. I remember going to one of the conventions or something, and we started chatting, and I realized you lived like an hour from me, even though we had flown to like Atlanta to meet and things like that. So that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I remember my wife and I had a chance. We actually call it the driving, Mr. Sanderson interview, and we had a chance to drive in the car with you.
Yeah.
And it was a very memorable like hour and a half. Like Jason Denzel had set up this drive that we had. And I had an hour and a half. I think it was the first time we'd met to just chat.
Yeah, where were you driving me? From like one signing to another, or from the airport?
Yeah, it was like a signing to another.
Or something. It might have been the airport. I might have been on tour, and they're like, "We'll just have Hatch pitch you up."
Well, yeah, because I think it was Gathering Storm, and I remember driving you there, and I was like, "I'm not going to ask Brandon any questions about the Wheel of Time at all." And we only talked like just life, and then on the way to the next interview, it was like all Wheel of Time questions. Well, everyone out there, thank you for being here again. We're going to jump in just so you know how this is going to work. We're going to be watching the episode, season finale here, and Brandon's going to be talking over that. So if you haven't watched it at all, this may not be the right time for you to be trying to watch along and listening to us, or maybe this is exactly what you wanted, the experience. I'll be reacting to the episode. I'll probably be throwing some questions Brandon's way, and he'll be just talking over this. And then we'll have a good maybe 20 minutes afterwards to just chat about the episode after it's over. So before we press play on this, Brandon, I just wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts so far, first 7 episodes?
Pretty good. I feel pretty good about them. As I've said many times before, Perrin's arc is the one that I'm not satisfied with in the first season. I am pretty satisfied with everything else. When I read the first screenplay, I did have to turn a switch in my head. And that switch was when I realized this wasn't going to be a straight one-to-one adaptation. It was going to be an adaptation that was going to be taking more liberties. And I recognized this would probably be the case even before I read that first episode, because I've been in many planning meetings for Wheel of Time potential films or television shows over the years. And always the challenge is, how are you going to condense this, right? Like, how do you condense Matt and Rand's trip, all the way to Camelin and then to Tar-Valon, and you have maybe 1 episode. Turns out they had about 2. But you have to balance that with the Perrin Egwene side. And even without adding Moiraine to have her whole viewpoint arc through all of this, if you're going to do any Nynaeve, like, how are you going to do that in 2 episodes maximum? And a lot of times with adaptation, you realize what you have to do is, if you can't do it the way it is in the book, you have to try to create new scenes that condense that and capture the soul of it. And I think that the team has done an excellent job of that. I think most of the characters it's really worked really well for. I think that that Moiraine and Lan have just been excellent all the way through. I think that Nynaeve has been really fantastic all the way through. And Egwene and Matt also pretty good. Perrin is getting kind of the short end of that deal, in my opinion.
I thought Perrin was going to have more, considering how they kind of kicked his storyline. I thought there was going to be more of a development of something there. They seem to have left him kind of.
Well, here's the thing: they can't do that much more though, because what they're doing is true to like what I said to Rafe when I read the first episode. Is I said, if you're going to do this with Perrin, like how are you? He's going to have to be reacting to this the whole episode, the whole season. And lo and behold, that's what they plan to do anyway. But that means his trauma is his dominant emotion through the first season, which leaves him pretty much paralyzed and unable to do anything. And that's the appropriate way to handle the level of trauma. I just would not have given him that level of trauma because that's what you end up with. But at the same time, Perrin and Rand, you have a challenge with adapting them because both of them are primary viewpoint protagonists in the first book. And both of them are very internally motivated. You empathize with Rand not because he's being that proactive through the course of the book, but because he's the lens through which you see all the actions that are being taken. And you have that same problem with Paul Atreides, and you have that same problem with Perrin. You're seeing his reaction to everything, and it makes him a very vivid, vivacious character because of that. But when you translate that to the screen, Perrin and Rand have a much bigger challenge. And that's why I do think, I think the reveal in episode 7 with Rand, they really landed. They really nailed that. I missed the lightning and the whole thing where he first channels in the books, but you couldn't have done that and preserved the mystery. And I think the whole Rand arc was worth it for episode 7. Doing the birth on Dragonmount mixed with him revealing and kind of taking charge and saying, I'll go do it, just really clicked together. And so I'm okay with Rand, even though some of the Rand stuff through the earlier episodes was a little weaker because, by necessity, losing his viewpoint on the story makes him turn out to be a little more bland than some of the other characters, but it came together. But then Perrin has just not worked for me the whole season. I'm excited to hopefully have more Perrin in season 2, but that's been kind of my reaction is really this was an almost impossible task that the team tackled really well. And I've been pleased to have my voice listened to. As I've offered feedback. If those that don't know, my job has basically been to read the scripts and offer feedback. I'm not part of any of the production design or anything like that. Watching it, I didn't know that how the Aes Sedai rings would look. Yeah. Sorry, that's not my fault. I didn't know that the costuming would look so great, and it's turned out really wonderfully. I didn't know a lot of those things, and so I was trying to give feedback on character and things like that. And the other thing to be aware of, and I unfortunately, episodes 6 and 7, I didn't get to do very much on. So COVID
6 and 7
hit.
Or 7 and 8?
7 and 8, you're right, 7 and 8. COVID hit right after filming of 6, around there somewhere. And so there was a huge gap. And everyone's scrambling to figure out what they're going to be doing. Episodes, this is when, things were happening with Barney. His role was needing to be reduced in the show. And that required major rewrites. They were just in crisis mode. And I did not see screenplays for 7 and 8 until they were filmed.
Gotcha.
I offered some feedback then that while they were still doing editing and things like that. But my influence over 7 and 8 is minimal, at least judging by 7. There was very little I could do, and I don't blame them. Like I said, they were in super crisis mode. So 8, I'm just mostly along for the ride, though I will. I'm a talker, if you can't tell. So you're probably going to get lots of thoughts in comments and things from me. So if you haven't watched the episode before, you might enjoy that, just watching it like this. But if you may also want to come back to the VOD on this one.
Sure. Yeah, sounds great. So that's it, guys. We're going to watch this episode. We're going to start it here shortly. And then for those of you that are on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. You might have to come over on YouTube. It's actually playing on Brandon's channel too. You can find us over there to watch this entire episode.
Are we streaming the episode? We're not streaming the episode,
no,
right?
No.
It'll
This episode.
Yeah, you'll see us.
You'll
and
see
there'll
us,
be
exactly.
a number at the bottom saying
Yep.
what minute and second we are into the episode, so you can
Yep.
sync yours. So we're just basically offering an audio commentary.
Yep.
You won't hear any of the audio for the show through our channel. You'll just get to see our lovely faces and hear us blabber incessantly about things.
Here we go. Okay,
Yeah.
is everybody ready for this?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
get it going.
Let's push play.
All right, so we just had the previously on, right before this started. They were like, should we skip this part? And I'm like, no, we've got to see the credits. We've got to see my name.
What did you think about the ways?
So the ways were too short, but I thought it was a cool interpretation of them.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I was amused trying to imagine them filming it because they probably had this like one causeway that they had to keep walking back and forth across and things. I don't know.
They built out this whole.
They built up the whole thing.
Well, I don't know how it
Yeah.
looked really elaborate.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted that kind of silence
Yeah.
experience that you get in the ways. But yeah, it was. I think that definitely episode 7 is my favorite so far.
Episode 7 was fantastic. But there's a problem with the ways in that if you're going to do it like it's in the books, again, that's so internal.
Yes.
It's just blackness.
Exactly. Right.
And so when I saw the lightning, I'm like, you really need this,
Yeah.
even though I don't know that I would have put it.
3,000 years ago.
That's
Okay.
right. Yes. Here we go. Here we go. So gregarious? Yeah. So gregarious of him. When I read the first episode and I realized we weren't going to get the Age of Legends intro at all,
Yeah.
I'm like,
The
wait a
prologue?
minute. You're not starting, and it was actually a different prologue than it ended up being. They ended up doing a different prologue, but it still wasn't the Age of Legends prologue. And I realized, oh, this is either brilliant or it's the worst idea you've ever had.
How do you think it played out with this, not including that here, but actually having this scene?
I think it's great. I think one of the reasons why it's really great is because you begin the whole thing by saying to the fans, look, we're going to take a different tactic on this. We're not going to do the obvious expected thing, but then we still get to have it basically at the end. So it's kind of a have your cake and eat it too sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see how much Age of Legends we actually get to see, because the screenplay didn't make that to make that clear. And so I'm like, are we going to get a good shot of like a city or something? I still don't know.
Yeah.
This is new to me.
I love the he just mentioned the nursery aspect to this.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like following the text. Obviously, they're speaking in
Yes,
the old
they're
tongue.
speaking the old tongue, and so
Yeah.
I wonder how much work they had to do on the old tongue.
Yeah.
When I had to do old tongue in the books, I just went to Alan and I said, Alan, here's what it is. Will you give me some old tongue? And he would be able to make up for me any of the words that Jim hadn't written out, because Jim had a bunch of the old tongue,
Yep.
but he mostly invented it as he needed it.
By the way, I saw they used Dragon Reborn. That was an interesting choice.
Yes.
And Tomerlin seat.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Interesting use of the Ring of Tomerlin to establish. Yeah.
Aren't you the Tamerlane seat?
That's a name that I used way back in the day.
Yes.
It makes me laugh.
I think of the Tamerlane, I see you. They didn't ask you.
I know.
What?
What's up?
Oh, we
okay.
do. We do
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to see Age of Legends. Hey. Oh, they made it look like the White Tower.
I want to see some Forsaken. I wish they see like some attack happening right there.
No, isn't that cool? They made it seem like the
Oh, they were in like in.
no, the buildings look like the same structure as the White Tower. Look, they
okay,
evoke
yeah.
the same feel. It's almost like they're trying to say, hey, the White Tower is like an ancient structure that's lasted from Age of Legends or is built to evoke that.
What I thought you were saying is maybe they were kind of looking down out of a tower.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were assuming they were both in a tower in that moment. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. No, the architecture is meant to evoke.
Yeah.
So here's
your name.
Here's my name. Oh, is it oh, here's my name. Yeah. So there are so
this is
many.
A beautiful intro. There it is.
There are so many producers on this, and I asked some of my friends in television, like that's how it always is in television. There's just a ton of people to do different things. I honestly just assumed my name would be in the end credits, hidden like at the bottom, and by the way, there's this Brandon guy. And so when I came and I was like, like the 4th listed producer or something out of 17 or whatever, I'm like, wow, they actually put me on. So
these intro credits I love.
Yeah, they did a really good job with those. Yeah. I'm pleased. I saw on the Wheel of Time Reddit someone made that tapestry for their wall, and it looked really nice. Yeah.
Oh, geez, awesome.
I was really instantly envious. So there we are. How do Trollocs get through this to flood Tarwin's Gap? Now that's something I would have said to him. I'm like, they have to move armies of hundreds of thousands through this.
That's a great
right? Because the Blight in the books is just everything has like a sickness to it. It's not something else that's grown. Yeah.
Right. But it does take different shape depending where it's at. But yeah, it is certainly. A like jungle-like in this, in a way that would prevent travel.
How are they gonna do my books where we have to have several 100,000 Trollocs pile through the? Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Oh yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Spoilers for the entire book series.
That's right. That's good.
I will just warn you. I'm not going to be good at not giving spoilers to the book series. I'm sorry. So what do you think of this? What do you think of the fact that they needed a B plot for everyone else here?
But the books it is. I mean, I agree with this. I mean, we talked about this recently. I agree with this idea where it's like everyone goes up there, but even Moraine says like, and Egwene, I need if you guys come with. I mean, too, and we'll all go up there and. They don't really do much.
Yeah, they just stand around.
So I can see the appeal when you're writing this of like, I don't want them to just be standing around.
There. Well, Rands.
Well, Rands, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, my only issue in the last one was how strong it was with if anyone else goes with you, they'll die. I'm like, why?
They're definitely pushing that.
I mean, they need it to be narratively strong.
Well, no, but I will say this though. Let's be honest here with the Wheel of Time books. People should have died a lot earlier than ever died. I mean, come on. Like, the Forsaken show up at the end, and it's just like, people should have died. And, we lose the Green Man. So there is something to, like, realistic, like, we're going to go where we think the Dark One's at.
Yeah.
And to think that, like, we're all going to survive is kind of an absurd
Seven Towers of Malkier.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. For those watching right now, 7 Towers of Malkier. There's this whole thing, right? I said, I think that the 7 Towers of Malkier in this promotional thing, people are like, you're insane. So there you go.
You got it right?
I think I got it right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really behind how Rand came together in episode 7. If we hadn't had that episode 7, I don't know how I'd feel, but it really locked him into place.
It works for me as a book reader, in I think I filled in a lot of gaps. Yeah. And so, but yeah. This idea of episode 7 is my favorite. I think because I know a little bit going in. But they finally brought him out, and everyone was begging for that the entire season. Yeah, like, there's a lot of fans are like,
"Are they?
Who's this dude?" Like a lot of like.
Why does he not have a personality and everyone else does? I mean, he did. I really liked the fact where he argued with Moraine in like episode 2 or 3.
No, absolutely.
That one
started off.
It like there's a perfect Rand moment.
Yeah.
But. Yeah. Man, Lan is so good in this.
Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yes, Daniel is just fantastic.
These two
Both
really
of them.
Work.
I really like Nynaeve also. Ooh. That's so nice of her. So, I read these in June or July of this year. It's the first time that I read them. They're so good together.
Yeah, this is.
I'm so happy that this works, right?
Yeah.
Nynaeve's one of my absolute favorite characters, and
Nynaeve was not one of my favorite characters,
Yeah.
but show Nynaeve has become one of my favorite characters.
and this is like the Lan that they've been presenting, and this is how I've always read Lan. I don't know if you remember, a lot of people had controversy, not as big as my Matt controversy, but a lot of people didn't like my Lan as much because he was a little less stoic, a little more emotional, but I was showing him through his eyes. I was trying to write New Spring Lan. When you see Lan through Lan's eyes, he does not see himself as this stoic, I won't say monster, but stoic machine. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. We can see the Blight.
Yeah, I love that. I love the.
But that's the Lan that I wrote,
Yeah.
and that's the Lan that I think Robert Jordan wrote. But
Hold on. 1 second.
yeah, well, I'm sure this isn't a dream.
Still, I mean, regardless of it being a dream, that was unexpected. That's for sure.
What do you think of Balsamon here?
In my head, it was always more dramatic of the fire eyes concept.
More darkness.
Oh, interesting. They're getting rid of it
Yeah.
just immediately. Now that makes some level of sense.
Yes. You
So you're
get
not
to-
talking to the fire eyes the entire time.
That's good because actually I already knew this was coming, but we get. This is something that I kind of like. This is the Ishamael that I got to write, right?
Yeah.
That because by the time we got to my books, we got to have this character, whereas in the other ones, he didn't really get to be a character. So I very much enjoyed writing him. He was one of my favorites. I like that we get to see him really early because...
Yeah, they're not presenting him in the kind of crazier lunatic that they do in The Eye of the World, the book. So
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the screenplay. I think this is expanded from what I read, and I'm really liking seeing it. It's coming together pretty well.
I do like the monologuing here.
Yeah.
It's a very
Come on, it's totally that's how he is.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
love that they didn't change that. I wanted that about Ishamael. Has to be that way.
Yes.
I know for like people that never read the books, saying Ishamael is not going to be as meaningful here. But
he really is a grandstander. That's part of who he is, and
I like that they're giving us the turning concept here.
well, and I mean the whole personal thing between them is just really great.
It's a
little more of the television show Grimdark there.
No, I mean now I'm trying to go back and think. There are moments where they try to prove themselves that that it is a dream. But yes, it's a dramatic way to show that.
Very dramatic way to show it. Yeah. That was well handled. That was well acted.
I love that interaction.
So there's this issue.
I love this drawback of the Blight. That gave a really menacing look. The top down approach I really liked.
So there's a thing for those who aren't book readers. Eye of the World is a tricky thing. The book, not the Eye of the World. Oh, do we get?
She's giving him a sangreal.
Yes, it's the Fat Man, isn't it?
Did she say thousands? Thousands of them?
That's a
That's a lot.
that is a lot. That's That's a mini Chodian call there.
Yeah, that would be extremely
So
powerful.
for those who haven't read the books, number one, sorry, we're talking over your show so much. You really should watch this. It's going really well, and then come back and watch it with us.
There's definitely a lot of trust in the way that Moiraine says these things
Yes.
about like it's all going to work out. I mean, she definitely has that vibe in the Eye of the World, like the wheel and the pattern. Basically, you know, I'll take you there, and it'll all work out.
So I was going this direction with, in the books, the Eye of the World, the book, has certain quirks to it that don't show up in the rest of the series. And I've always called it the Eye of the World problem, but I think fandom had a different name for it. I'm trying to remember. But you see in the book Robert Jordan writing himself into the world and including a lot of things that don't end up being used to the rest of the series, like Moiraine shape changing to different sizes.
Yeah.
The kind of way that channeling with the true power works.
The loose
at the Eye of the World.
metaphysics in the Eye of the World.
The loose metaphysics. And this is also partially related to the fact that Robert Jordan planned the first 3 books as one book and pitched them as a single novel. And so when he got to 200,000 or however many words in and said, I need to end this, it's the Eye of the World itself feels like, I don't know this for sure, but it feels like a stopgap because he couldn't get all the way to Tyr and the Stone of Tyr. And that he ended up breaking his story into 3 pieces. And Eye of the World kind of got shortchanged. It's the ending that's probably the weakest
Of all the books, yeah.
of at least the first 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't hold a candle to Falme or to
any of those first 6.
Yeah, to any of those.
Maybe
those
7.
books. Yeah, maybe.
I'll count it over 7.
Okay. But like,
I do actually like this walk through the Blight.
it does. It in the book, it feels so fast.
Yeah.
To get there, right?
Well, it feels. I think there's something very specific about this jungle kind of
The
aspect of it. The
feel
constrictive feel of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if this was easier or harder to film because of that. I always wonder about things like that. Because I'm Moiraine. Listen to Moiraine.
By the way, if you're watching us and you're putting comments in, we can't see them.
Yeah. We can't see when you're. Yeah.
I'll have to go back and see those later.
Nice little moment of vulnerability here for Moiraine. Moiraine is really the Jack Sparrow of this series. Let me explain. If you go back and watch the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, Jack Sparrow makes basically the right choice at every decision and is always honest and honorable with everybody, but they all mistrust him anyway. And the whole movie would go so much better if people just actually did what Jack said. And people should
I've never thought about it that way, but I like it.
just do what Moiraine says. She's framed suspiciously several times.
Yeah.
Well done with the filming to make that. But, you know, I suppose she pulled some Aes Sedai tricks.
I love.
You like their men?
I love their men. Yeah. I love Min as a character. Love the viewing so far.
Yeah. What do you think of Loyal?
Oh, Hamed gets him so well.
He's perfect.
Yeah, like the amount of love for that character, even from people that have never read the books.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see, and I saw a lot of reactions.
Yeah.
There's a group that calls him Brother Book out there, and yeah, he's amazing. I love his portrayal.
I think it's fantastic.
I missed him in the last episode.
Right.
Like I don't feel we got him much.
They couldn't.
I needed him in a library or something. Ooh, I like this.
These visions are far more dramatic than the visions from the books.
You think?
Yeah, because the books you just get like little, like I see a dagger through a heart or something like that. I mean, that's not what the actual ones, but you know, it's not like you see an actual vision. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Her explanation of what like is the interpretation of it.
Yeah.
I need to go back and actually.
So, How did they get through there? Come on, Rafe.
Well, it seems like you have the Blight encroaching on it. So yeah,
Yes.
if they're coming from wherever, and that's what they're not explaining here, right? Like this idea, she thinks they're going to the Dark One's prison, you know, but this Eye of the World,
Yeah.
and you don't know at this point that I'm trying to think if they explained where Trollocs come from.
I can't remember. You're asking the wrong person for that.
Now I'm like,
that's a question I'd
I need
ask
to go
Maria.
back. For those of you in chat, I'll go back and see your answers now.
I ask people like you.
No, I'm saying
things
like in the
that.
show, have
Yeah.
they
Have
they
said?
explained like?
No, they haven't. I
So
don't
yeah,
think they
to
have.
your question of how did they get there? Well, we don't even know where they're coming from.
Right? Applause for Uno.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah. Uno is so Uno-like.
Yeah, amazing. Guy Roberts does a great job.
You know all the actors' names. Man.
I don't know all of them, but we talk about this like
Yeah.
weekly and daily. So yes, these guys are amazing. Yeah, I think this is really actually done really well.
And
This is the gap will not hold. Them bringing the gap closer to Faldara.
yeah.
Do you like that decision of it kind of
Yeah,
just being right
need
there?
you need it visual. Like I looked at him like, are you going to be able to do my cavalry charge here, Rafe? But at the same time, Avengers already stole my cavalry charge, right through gateways, and so I don't know if they can even do my cavalry charge because the Rousseau brothers already nailed that one in a really nice, dramatic, iconic scene.
Yeah.
And so
Okay, this is interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. I don't know that I saw this question last night. I think it was like, I hadn't thought about that. Her going in thinking
Yes.
that she's going to die.
It's very Moiraine. What
Yeah.
do you think of the Blues having their Aja meaning changed a little bit? From the Blues, what'd we do? We just had a computer die.
1 second, we'll be right back. But we're right at this key moment, everybody. Our viewing has paused.
Our viewing
Taylor,
has
do you want
paused.
to pause the timer on that?
Yeah.
Look at Taylor. Pause the timer. There we go. While we wait.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't. It's not right if we don't have some technological issues. So what do you think of like? So in the books, for those who don't know, the Blue Aja, their whole thing is they have like causes, right? And they do have the best spy networks. That's reinforced many times. But it's not like they're the spies of the White Tower.
But see, wasn't that Leandrin's explanation of what they were?
See,
Have we had any official Blue
no,
Aja explanation?
But I think that's what they're going with.
Okay.
Because the Blue Aja, it always, like in the books, it's weird to figure out. Okay, you guys heal. You guys
Right.
are scriptorians, and you guys, you guys hunt down the channelers. And what do you guys do? We have causes. Those aren't causes? No.
Yes, there seemed like there should be more blending that supposedly ever happened. I'm always like, I'm a brown plus blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to me, I wasn't sure if they were using that whole unreliable narrator concept
Right.
where Leandrin's trying to paint them a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the case that Leandrin's making from a political standpoint.
I don't think that she is.
Okay.
I think that they're making that a change because, at least in narrative form, you don't do something like that and then, unless you immediately undercut it, it will cement into people's brains. And the writers know this. Like, what you first introduce for somebody is very hard to get out of a reader or a viewer's head. And so people are going to come off from this first seasons being like, oh, just like the yellows heal, the blues are spies. So I don't think they would make that mistake unless they were doing it deliberately.
Okay.
So that's my take on it.
Take it beyond. Then you're saying
Yeah.
you would take it beyond Leandrin actually
Yeah.
just trying to paint them a certain way politically.
I would say that that's what their official sort of thing is. Though I don't know. Like they might be doing with some of the adaptations of my solo work that we're working on. One of our driving forces is to be like, let's try to make the films or television shows not contradict the books, even if they don't go into as much depth, if that makes sense. We're
Okay, everybody.
We're back.
Looks like we're back. Here we're gonna go. Taylor, gonna kick this off. Okay, let's get back into this.
Yes. Man, this is almost halfway.
I know.
Already.
I feel like this is insane. Oh, okay. Now, okay. Lands in the Blight.
Yes, lands in the Blight. So, lands in the Blight. Tracking Moiraine.
There we go.
See.
I was right again. I was right again.
Someday they'll do my books, Lan. Then you'll be able to be back.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm like, how much is going to be? How much can they align with my books by the time they get to them?
Did you think? Sorry, that's a great question. But to this point in the show, did you think that they've kind of given Lord Algamar a more antagonistic view, or do you think that antagonism did exist with the Aes Sedai, and they're just kind of really?
I would have to go back and look text by text. I did not read him this antagonistic. I always read the Borderlanders, and even him, even though he's a little stiff, I always read them as the most respectful, right?
Yeah.
Of Aes Sedai. Like, they know they're fighting in the Blight. They know that they're on the same side as the Aes Sedai, and they're the only ones who really accept that. Yeah. So I didn't read him that way.
Someone brought up that maybe it's a conflict here at a familial level with his sister, and that he was kind of pulling that into that relationship, because as soon as it was clear that wasn't the White Tower kind of forcing something on him, he was very cordial and such.
Yes.
So, but I was kind of curious if you had that same reaction.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did but it wasn't a big deal. It's just them searching for drama anywhere they can find it, right? Like, that's a thing that you see in television a lot, is anywhere there can be strife or drama, they're going to look to put it in, because, that helps with your pacing and keeping things moving. And
I do like this idea, like he just said, Tarman Guidance here.
Yes, that they think this is the end.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, those who haven't seen it yet, this is totally the end. This is the last season. They actually went through all 14 books.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with them managing to do that.
Yeah, I think I saw a comment. A fan was like, well, I reminded my wife, there's like 13 more books.
Yes. That's a nice framing right there.
Yeah.
They've done so many nice framing shots. Whoever their cinematographer is, clap for you. Like, the gap between them, metaphorically, and the gap that the Trollocs are pouring through, and it's just
I do
really
like
cool.
that they took time here to build that relationship out and show it to us.
Yeah.
Because I like how seriously they took the idea of Faldara and its position here to blunt the Dark One's rise of forces being able to kind of flood the rest of the lands.
Sound design has been on point the whole season as well. Really have liked their Foley work. I've really liked the music.
Yeah. Lauren's done a great job with that. It's
They-
really distinct.
Yeah.
I go watch other things right now, and everything sounds alike.
Yeah.
And so I was so glad that he's really given us a kind of distinct.
And I like during the talk for adaptations, a lot of times, cool,
It's a nice shot.
nice shot. A lot of things, some forces kept pushing for it to be more futuristic, more post-apocalyptic, and I like that it's fantasy with only the little hints. Like, the skyscrapers were even a little much for me in episode 2, but I can see why you would need them to get that. To evoke that feeling to people.
I liked that one. This one's this kind of pulling on his memories so forward into this. Like, it's definitely not a slow burn from the books.
I think it's a good idea. You need to accelerate that. You need to reinforce to us, to the viewer, that this really is the Dragon Reborn. It builds a nice parallelism. And anyway, I think it's a good move. And here's the thing. Eye of the World is so hard to adapt because the ending of Eye of the World is so, it's just
esoteric.
Esoteric. Like,
you didn't want to battle in a space between Rand and Ashamael where he sees chords and cutting of the chords.
Yes. It just and so instead, what they have done is they've jumped and given echoes of book 14.
This is an interesting.
And so, yeah. So this is a scene essentially that I wrote, right?
Well, this is also a little bit. Isn't this from? Doesn't Egwene have?
She does.
In the
That's
testing?
in the testing, but there's portal stone stuff like this too, in book 2.
Sure.
And so it's kind of blended all the way
They
through.
Yeah. Good point. The flickering.
The whole flickering.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there a flickering one where he's with Egwene? I can't remember. Your fans will all know.
Yes, exactly.
You're broadcasting to the people.
I'm trying to say, like,
can quote the chapters in book 2
there
by
is,
number.
I'm thinking about the scene. Yes, there is definitely a flicker scene through for Rand.
But the whole confrontation with the Dark One, and him being shown perfect worlds and things, like dueling realities.
Interesting. You didn't see. When he channeled right there, they've been overlapping a taint, a black.
Yeah.
And when he channeled,
so they're giving him the true power. Yeah.
You did not see it, or they're giving him the filter on the taint.
That's true. That in Eye of the World, in the book, he had the filter. That's
you could be going the filter.
And that's what Rand cut, right? Was like partially filters.
I have to go back and kind of find out exactly what we determined that to be, because again, that's loose metaphysics.
Really
it was
vague.
loose metaphysics when at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't know what just happened to Moraine there.
I don't know either. Well, I do, but it's in the script. But I don't know. Yeah.
I missed the. Sorry, that's the whole part. We talk over this, guys, and then we miss some things. But,
these Trollocs are really nice guys.
They're really nice guys.
I didn't understand them because they were speaking Czech, but they shared a sandwich and some donuts with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really nice guys. For Trollocs, right? I mean, they still, they're still Trollocs. They're still, eating people and stuff. But that aside, nice guys.
Love it. You heard that here. The Trollocs are nice guys.
Yeah, the Trollocs are nice. So Padden Fane. What are your thoughts on their Padden Fane?
I want more Padden Fane.
I love him.
Yeah, Johan is he's amazing, and I want more of him.
He is so good.
Give us more.
Yeah, Padden Fane and Loyal road trip. It's the two we want more of. Just put them. What about
men leaving?
Men
okay.
leaving.
Okay.
It's with all the people.
That makes sense.
So here they are. Yay, Uno.
Did I miss what's happening here? I guess we'll find out here shortly.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So just kind of, again, many evocations of Book 14. Well, not completely, obviously, in this, but I like it. I like the whole circular nature. I don't know how much they're doing intentionally if I'm just reading into it.
Well, they've done a lot. I felt like that in episode 1.
Yeah.
I felt like episode 1, I'm trying to remember what the context was, where I was like, oh, it was when they were talking about... it was the scenes where they had that almost...
Wait a minute. Do they have crossbows? Why are they using crossbows here?
As in, do they have crossbows in the books?
I don't know. Matt's listeners, tell us if they have crossbows in the books.
We can't see their answers.
I view crossbows as a different sort of like short-range firing line weapon in war. They're much slower than bows. You only use them because you want a density of arrows in a short horizontal shot, or if you want to have untrained people be firing them. So it doesn't make sense for those to be crossbows, in my opinion, but they are cooler, I suppose. Maybe
I did not even notice that, because I have no idea about weaponry.
It doesn't make a lot of. I mean, if I suppose it depends on how long your gaps there are that they're shooting through.
They're saying yes.
They said yes. Okay, thank you.
They do have crossbows in the books. Good. Okay, you guys know your stuff. I'm glad that you know your stuff. So that's just that's Rafe reading the books and
this part
good.
with Perrin, they've definitely added the conflict of the Way of the Leaf more than I thought they would with him.
Yeah.
Which is something that in the books doesn't seem to last nearly this long. As in, he thinks I think he kind of like thinks about it, but then it's gone.
Yeah.
Do you like that they're kind of adding his?
Yes, I do. It's a good way to foreshadow the axe versus the hammer, which is him finding a middle ground in the future.
They've definitely pulled, like I said, pulled a lot of stuff that's coming later, and I wonder, like you're saying, if they're hoping for the payoff.
Yeah.
In seasons to come with.
I've told you before that when we were looking at what to do with Perrin, because Robert Jordan did not leave notes very much for Perrin.
Oh, okay.
I've told you that before.
Yeah, I probably forgot.
11, 12, or 12, 13, 14, there was basically nothing. There was a ton on Egwene. We had the most on Egwene of anybody, but we had almost nothing for Perrin. And so one of the things I considered was bringing back the Way of the Leaf, and it was wrong, and so we didn't go that way. But I even thought, well, this is a major thread theme, pacifism potentially with Perrin. Is this a place we could go?
Yeah.
And instead I brought back the White Cloaks and the trial and the forging of the hammer and all of these things instead. But
It was a big win for the forging the hammer among fandom. It
was one of my favorite scenes that I've ever written in my whole life. So
yeah.
It was a very good payoff for me to have a chance.
Yeah, this is definitely pulling in like Flicker world,
Yeah.
Egwene's test to me. I didn't even think about, you were calling out the end.
So, yeah.
And, you're right.
In the end, there's like a duel of,
That's right.
Now it's not quite like this, but it's a duel of realities. It's like, here, let me show you how it could be with me. And then Rand's like, no, let me show you how it could be, how it should be, and stuff like that. It's not like they're just pulling that forward. They're just giving an echo of those same sorts of themes. What could have been is a theme of the Wheel of Time.
Sure.
And what might have been and what might be. That's the whole idea. And so questions of, could this be real? Is this real? Do I want it to be real? Is very appropriate to the Wheel of Time. It's a good way to solve the Eye of the World problem, where you aren't sure what to do with that ending.
This is interesting, right? Because I want to say in the books, right, you have, don't you have a Kari Althor moment?
Maybe,
Trying to force his hand a bit. I want to say, I have to go back and.
Man, that is just how I imagined him too. He's dressed the right way. He's acting the right way.
You mean acting the right way in the sense of like a more rational.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll tell you this. What I don't want to happen is I don't want 3 conflicts with this individual, as in 3 continual like fights aspect.
Yeah.
So as this develops, I kind of wonder if that was the idea of not kind of creating insane Ishamael.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure.
I do like they're giving us Forsaken Moraine here. They're kind of mixing this idea, right? We get Forsaken Moraine at the end of the Eye of the World, the book, but not this interaction. Not giving us that, but giving us her interaction with Forsaken, but also Rand. I do like simplifying that.
Do you like that they're just doing 1 Forsaken instead of 3?
That would have been madness. Yeah. Just to give us 3 throwaway Forsaken, or 2 throwaway Forsaken, basically.
I might have, if they were going this direction, though, had this guy without the fire face show up a little earlier in the series.
Yes, Without his. I see what
Without
you're
the
saying.
fireface. I might have brought in just straight up Ishamael earlier in the series. Yeah.
I'm not.
It's a nice reveal.
I would
suppose.
rather they given us a little bit more of him.
Okay.
In this first season, like he shows up in like 2 dreams, and we don't get
Yeah.
as much.
I
wanted a
mean,
little bit more chatter, maybe.
See, that's a good reason to have a crossbow right there. That's an excellent reason to have a crossbow.
That's the shot they wanted here.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Algamar right here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That taking out Lord Algamar.
Guess he's not making it.
Okay. I want to know what everyone in chat thinks about that. What did you think about the loss of Lord Algamar? I don't have polls. I can't make a poll for you. But now I. Okay, Taylor. Yeah, Taylor. Why are you not? Are you making polls over there, Taylor? Interesting. I've been looking at the object in his hand. Or do you think that is some kind of?
I mean, they've got to have it as an Angreal, right? That's the only reason they would focus on it like they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Rand.
I know we're all this like a tense
Come on.
moment.
Come on, Rand. Oh, Rand. So.
They're definitely.
Do
they're
you like this better than 1-power battle?
Well, if it had been an epic battle that Jordan had given us between Rand and Ishamael.
No, I like the Rand Ishamael stuff.
But
but
I like this.
Moiraine was doing some.
Oh, Patton Fane's back. You mean, am I missing out on the Rand Tarwin's Gap kind of thing?
No.
Oh.
Some more. You got your more Patton Fane. He just has a swagger that is so good.
Oh man. The Horn of Valyr is under the throne. I mean, that is a place to put it, as opposed to like in a pool of Sidene inside of a chest.
Oh come on, no pool of Sidene.
Yeah, if you're not gonna give us the Green Man though, where are you gonna put the Horn of Valyr?
Yeah.
Although, why didn't they give us any notion of the Horn of Valyr up until this point? I guess that's the thing that's
not enough room. There's just not enough room for all the foreshadowing you need. Though, when I read this, I was a little surprised because I just assumed, like, you don't have room for the Horn of Valyr, so why not just put it all off to season 2?
I didn't think we were gonna get it.
And then make the hunt for the Horn and things like that. Right?
I wonder if this is one of the things where we get a reference, but it didn't make the cutting room floor kind of thing.
It's possible. Very, very dramatic linking. Everything's very, very dramatic in this, though.
Five channelers against this Trolloc horde.
See, but
although you do have Nynaeve.
What they didn't do is they didn't put their siege equipment in front of their infantry in the darkness and then, let it get taken by the army. So, sorry, it's a little Game of Thrones dig there.
Oh, another. Oh man, I can never have enough Patton Fane in the show.
No, I like the dueling for Rand's morality or whatever, right? But I miss a little bit the cool 1-power Forsaken battles at the end of Eye of the World. As much as vague as Eye of the World can be, the book, it was cool to be like, all right, here are, for the first time, channelers on both sides really letting loose.
Would you say that he just helped him learn how to channel here?
Maybe. Well, looks like he's obviously doing that.
That's what I'm saying, is like he's interesting. You don't get that at all from the first book, right? but yes, part of me wants that. I want that Tarwin's Gap moment with Rand bursting out. I mean, you have Moraine against the Forsaken. You have those pieces of it, but that's not a ton of channeling.
Yeah.
There's some fight goes on, but the Forsaken take care of them
So
pretty quickly.
it's in book 1. Don't you hear the creator? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're not getting that here, right?
That's another Eye of the World sort of thing where it's like, oh, the creator is speaking now.
Not that you have any concept.
Not that I have any concept of what might be going on there or how things are involved in that. So.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. Like in my head, I was expecting like this big chest to come out, but that almost has like a more modern look.
I want to see how what they make the horn look like. Is it going to be a French horn again?
You want to actually see it, right?
Yeah, I want to see if it's a French horn. Isn't that what it is on the cover of book 2?
Yeah, I think I can't remember if it's actually, but probably. You have a better memory of that than I do.
I think it's more antiquated than that. But I was in band at the time when I'm reading this book. I'm like, hey, it's a dude with a French horn.
Oh,
that's a lot of power for a couple Aes Sedai. But I mean, they do have Egwene and Nynaeve, so
they have Egwene and Nynaeve. Yes.
You know. Wow, they're burning out Aes Sedai.
Okay, so they're having both of these moments happen simultaneously.
Yes.
That's
a good idea.
That's our parallel here.
Mm-hmm.
We're both captivated by the end here, everybody.
Yep. Yep.
I want some type of attack going on right here at this moment.
Well, they did a really good job with Rand here, right? Like, if you're going to have an arc for Rand, that has to be more external.
Oh, there we go.
Then deciding to let go and let Nynaeve be Nynaeve and
Egwene be Egwene.
Egwene be Egwene. Yeah.
I do love that little smile that Ashamel gives
Yeah.
as he goes away. Doesn't even defend himself there, which goes back to this whole question of the dream aspect of this being a trap.
Yeah.
And so there's a nice kind of connection there of like Rand. We had to have that moment where Rand's like, I'm pretty sure I just did it.
Yeah. Yep.
You need to have that beat.
End of the series. 14 books condensed into one. Good job, Rand.
Loyal? Pat and Fane just... Wow, there's no chance. There's zero chance that Rafe just took out. I don't believe it for a moment. I just do not believe it for a moment. Does anyone believe that we just lost Loyal? Tetsuji's asked Taylor, is Loyal actually dead in a poll? How far are they?
She killed 2 of them.
Are the Trollocs all dead? Okay. I do like the whole addictive quality nature to what they're showing here. This.
Yeah, I mean it.
Are they taking out Nynaeve here?
I think 100% that's what they're doing. So that's definitely
Wow,
how it is.
Amelisa, look at that shot. Burning out Amelisa is
She got hit by a shard blade.
But Nynaeve.
They had too many characters, so
I don't
they
believe for a month, right?
had
Like,
to cut down on some characters.
Nynaeve's cannot be dead. Oh my gosh, did I just see the dagger? Why did I not even notice that?
I didn't notice. Did he take the dagger?
He has the dagger.
He's got the dagger? Nice.
How did he get the dagger?
He's Pat and Fane.
He's Pat and Fane.
It's Pat and Fane. He can have the, you know.
Okay, I do dig this huge seal thing they got going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are we supposed to believe that Nynaeve is actually dead in this moment?
Absolutely. She's totally dead.
She cannot be dead. What I mean by that is, like, you can't be bringing people back from the dead.
What are you talking about? Is that a dig on what I did with Lan?
We need some balefire. That's what we need here. Ooh, Matt. Okay, I like a shot of Matt here. We saw this in the trailer for this episode. I need to know what they're doing with Matt. I can't tell what her Moraine's moment here is, what she's trying to give us. Tell them I died here. That is a very Rand thing to do. That's for sure.
He would never do that.
Never, not Rand.
No, just wander off and leave his friends for their own good. Except, how many times does he do that in this series?
88% said.
What's? Oh,
88% said loyal. That should be like 96%.
88% said what? Said what?
Loyal's not dead.
Loyal's not dead?
Ooh, the axe, or an axe. It's like Pat and Fane knows you're not going to do anything with that.
Yep. And so begins the great hunt.
Okay, I need more ethereal nature to those fades. As they walked out, I wanted something more. I don't know, in my head.
Are you mad? I was reading that who was it that was mad? Well, I wasn't even reading it. One of my friends was like, "Where's my color changing warder cloaks?"
Oh, the cloaks? No, that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really even. Is it really even like focused on much after the initial couple books?
I mean, they're mentioned.
They're mentioned, yeah. They don't use them like Harry Potter does with the invisibility cloaks. They don't.
I wish there'd been a little bit more for Lan to do here.
Yeah.
That's one of the notes that I left. Like,
I would have even if they had given us Lan fighting Trollocs in the Blight or something, or fighting like even if there had been like a Shamael had people defending the Eye of the World or the Eye here, and you had Lan like have to fight to get inside. I would have liked to have seen something like that.
That was my big note on episode 1 that they changed. Is I'm like, give Lan more to do, right? You caught that right. She's burned out, or she's stilled.
They stilled? She's stilled?
She's stilled, yeah.
I would have taken that. I was taking that more like she had been somehow like shielded and.
Nah, she's stilled. She's
stilled.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, now I got to go back and watch it. Is that what everybody saw in chat? Do you believe that Moraine has been stilled? Because I thought I heard her say something. Now I have to go back. I have to go back and watch. Okay, so I'm going to call that what we call in the books a pattern level event right there. Because you can't heal, I don't know what I saw there, but it was like healing death. That's a PLE. If you don't know what a pattern level event is, go to the end of The Great Hunt. That's what Jordan created, a pattern level event.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about either.
I wonder why choose
Yeah.
choose to
If so
kill Nynaeve? Like, what do you think the narrative purpose is there? Versus
drama,
just,
like when I read this again, I didn't get to give notes on this episode for very good reasons, with all the things going on. But my main comment was have them like actively defend rather than give the power to someone else and have a bit character burn herself out, and then this happened. Like, what I said to Rafe is, I'm like, this fixes some of the problems of the end of Eye of the World. I really like the dueling Rand, Dark One sort of things, the decision Rand comes to, but and I like the instinct of have a big battle that they're fighting, and have Nynaeve and Egwene there. But if you're going to have them be there, have them step up and be leaders, right? Have them be like, there's no Aes Sedai here. Everyone looks to them, and then they both decide, I need to go become an Aes Sedai because of the events that happened here, right?
I almost would have preferred to see them on the wall.
Yeah, see them on the wall.
Bring them up to the wall.
See everybody, maybe them not being able to channel as well as they should.
Well, there's that aspect of the what are they going to do there as they haven't learned how to.
Right, and then they both say, we need to learn this, we need to master this, so we're never in this situation again, because both of them have been hesitant about becoming Aes Sedai. I think that would have just been a quick, easy fix that would have made that whole sequence better. I didn't really... I mean, it's not terrible, but I didn't really like we give our power to this other woman, and then she does all the work, and then you did all of this work to keep the two of them back at from the Eye of the World, so they would have active things to do, but then none of them did anything.
Well,
Perrin stood there.
What's interesting is Rand, who people have talked about, did not have much of hasn't been part of it. This was the Rand episode.
Yeah, he got a big arc. Yay, Shan Chan. I mean, not yay, but
yay, Shan Chan.
Oh no, Shan Chan.
that'll be a meme out there. Yay,
Shan Chan.
Interesting. I'm like looking for collars.
Yeah. Where are the collars? I didn't see that there wouldn't be collars. They got the Damane looking kind of cool, but...
The Shan Chan are here. They definitely have kind of that... There's a wave taking out a little girl. That's a rude way to end. That's an instant way to make people hate somebody. Like, why do you need such a huge wave to take out this? Maybe they didn't see the little girl. I'm not gonna make an excuse for the Shan Chan. I'm not going to.
They're supposed to be coming back to liberate. You can complain about that. It's like, hey, little girl, do you want to swear the oaths? Oh, we can't hear you. Tsunami her.
Yes, introducing the Shan Chan is what you have to do at that point.
Yeah, you do have to do. It's just it plays into. I'm griping too much. They did a really good job with this, but it's the same sort of enhancing the drama, amping the kind of dark nature up a little bit. You don't need to end with a little girl getting destroyed by waves in order to make the Shan Chan threatening.
That definitely was.
It's a good shot.
It definitely pissed me off. I was like, I don't like these people already.
Yes.
So it's definitely making you not like them immediately before you know what's going on with them. That's for sure.
So, I mean, overall, episodes 4 through 7 remain the highlights. Do you like 7 your favorite, you said?
7's my favorite. I don't know why 3 doesn't rate higher with people.
3 was good.
3 is just so good. I know 4 is a favorite, and I'm not saying I don't love 4. 4 is good. To me, it's 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. And then I have 2, 1, not because I really liked 2 and 1. It's just that I liked the development they did later on with some of these episodes.
I like 1 more than a lot of the fandom has.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But I think having watched them all, 4 is now my favorite. 6 was my favorite in the screenplays. This was because 6 was so different, and it was more a writing thing. because it is not really that obvious in the show. In the screenplay, it says at the top, this episode follows only Maureen, and we see her as she goes through the different parts of her life, and we see her in her different roles. And thematically, it's really cool when you know that's what the episode is. Every other episode has jumped between a lot of viewpoints, and that one doesn't. It's only Maureen's viewpoint.
Yep.
And you're going to see Maureen in every one of her different roles in life. And it's a cool literary thing that was just it was a blast to read because of that.
I liked 6, and I didn't realize it was because of that until people
Yeah.
pointed out. I think someone pointed out that it was like, this is from her point of view,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. There's something nice about, from the book perspective, right? As much as I sometimes give The Eye of the World some problems for being just mostly Rand, if not all Rand, it is nice to kind of get behind a character and follow them through versus always be splitting up all the time. Where did this one land for you?
So this one is probably my least favorite.
Okay.
It's probably gonna. Now there are no bad episodes in this season. I told Ray that after I edited. I really don't think that there's anything underneath a 5 or a 6. And the top episodes are 9s and 10s for me. The top episodes being 6, 4, and 7. But now, Eye of the World, the ending of Eye of the World, as I think, like I said, it's the weakest of the first 6 books, writing-wise. And the actual ending of Eye of the World, it's hard to rank Robert Jordan's writing because he's a really good writer. Everything is really good. But Eye of the World's probably the only ending among those that I would rank under a 5 as an ending. So much of the rest of the book is so strong, and then the ending just is kind of there for me.
Yeah.
And so what I told Rafe when I read this, I'm like, you have improved, right? This is better. This is one of the places where I wanted you to make improvements over the books. Most of the places I didn't. Most of the books didn't need to be improved. But the ending of Eye of the World is one of those weak links.
I like Rand's ending of this over the book ending.
Yes, I agree.
I thought I wanted the other individuals to play a stronger role in this.
That's the part. Like again, they did all this work to get everybody where they could do things, but then none of them have climaxes to their arcs, and none of them really have anything to do, despite going through all that. And I wish I could have gotten this screenplay earlier and just talked through some of these things, because you really want this last episode to have everyone's arc land, right? And Perrin, again, just doesn't have an arc for the whole season.
What's interesting is I liked how his ended there for what they had done to him up to this point. What I mean by that is they drove home this idea of he does not know what to do, although now he's seen that his indecision
costs lives.
His indecision is costing lives. He's not choosing which way to go. So I actually, it wasn't a huge ending of like it resolved something. It did though kind of promise something. So I liked Perrin's end moment here, although his that Fane moment, I needed more Fane. I needed more like dark friends breaking in, doing stuff. But I love that we got that aspect to it.
Yeah.
There wasn't a build up to the Horn. The Horn is kind of, I would imagine for those book readers, we're like, okay, we get it, the Horn.
Yeah.
But I want to see what reactions the people that haven't read the books have. Where they're like, who cares that this Horn thing happens?
Right. And like Nynaeve and Egwene, there's just not enough there to, like, there's not a resolution to their arcs in this. And so...
But you had... what's so interesting is you had this build-up. I think Nynaeve had her big moment, right, in episode 4. And then you've had the relationship building with Lan that they've done.
And that came to a head in 7.
And that came to a head in 7, right? Yep. And so it was kind of like they had given her that, but I don't know what choice I would have made at that point.
It'd be such an easy fix to be like, they realize they need to go to the White Tower. They make kind of a pact with each other. We're going to go become Aes Sedai. We're going to make sure that this sort of thing can't happen again, right? We're going to be trained.
You're saying have a longer episode where they've won this battle and then they've made a choice?
During the middle of it, they need to make choices and either fail or succeed, but come to the decision at the end, we do need to go to the White Tower, right? We need to.
Got you. Because leaving them on the battlefield there.
Yeah, leaving them on the battlefield, it's like, is
a cliffhanger, but doesn't feel as strong from a kind of where do you go from here? I did like Moiraine's. I thought Moiraine and Rand were the strongest in this one. Her
decision to go with him, even though it proves what we've been seeing for the entire season, which is listen to Moiraine. She has your best interests in heart, at least the world's best interests in heart, right? She puts her her life where her mouth is, so to speak. Like, she is willing to put her life on the line, knowing that she's probably going to die. Yeah. And instead, she either gets shielded or stilled.
Okay, I want to ask everybody. Taylor, did you ask that poll? Do you think Moiraine was stilled?
71%.
Oh, you already asked that one?
Shielded.
Nice.
Shielded.
71% said shielded. I'm with you guys. Brandon? What does Brandon know?
What does Brandon know?
now 71% say shielded, but now they're going, but Brandon thinks stilled. So what do you guys think about that?
It could go either way.
I like it. I like your poker face there. That's good.
It definitely could go either way.
Okay. I think Moiraine Rand was strong here. I definitely think improvement with Rand's conflict with Ishamael over the books here. Yes. I definitely missed out on Rand having a big channeling moment, but it seems like they're trying to hold that back, I would assume. Yeah. Like they want to see, they want to build us up to that moment.
You know what I might have done? I might have brought another Forsaken in with Padden Fane and had the girls face him or her and then fail and just be too weak. And then that,
okay.
Right? Yeah, then you see another, you're setting up another villain, a mysterious, shadowy woman, shall we say, is with Padden Fane, a certain favorite of the Dusty Wheel. We don't see her face, so you don't actually have to cast an actor yet. And you have them face and be unable to defeat her because they aren't trained. Okay. And like Nynaeve, like summon the power and then nothing happens. Sure. And then they both realize we need to go. Like Gwen's untrained, Nynaeve can't summon her power. We were useless in this fight. A Forsaken or an enemy channeler wandered in, did terrible stuff. Lord Agelmar's dead. Yeah.
Lord Agelmar and his sister.
Yeah.
Amelisa. Well, yeah.
Didn't he make it to the last battle? He's a great general.
But the issue here is, right, Faldara hasn't fallen per se, but it's lost. It's basically lost its army, and you saw the exodus of the people. So they're definitely. You had mentioned this. Yeah, I think you had talked about this idea. There's a darker kind of feels like there's a little bit. It's a little bit darker.
It's a different turning of the wheel.
And it's also accelerating the story in ways where you're like, you can't necessarily leave Faldara like, no, we're good up here. We just defeated the Dark One.
Though one of the things that that Rafe told me that is interesting is that it's much harder in a television show to you often, when you can, want to have characters make an exit if they're not going to show up again for a long, long time, because certain things with contracts and keeping them on retainer and options for them later on make shows very complicated. And so I think his general instinct is going to be to have characters die heroically more often than in the books.
Well, I want to ask everybody, is Lord Agelmar dead?
Yes. Is one of the...
Did you say yes to my
No, I don't know.
question?
I don't know. I don't know
Taylor,
if Lord Agelmar's dead.
Ask that question. Is Lord Agelmar dead? Agelmar, do you know how to spell Agelmar?
I have no idea.
It's Agelmar.
But, I mean, he's one of the great captains, right?
Agelmar.
I'm right on that, right?
Yeah, I think he's one of them. Yeah.
So
We're over here like...
Yeah, Brandon, you wrote books about these guys, don't you remember?
That was never a fascinating part of the books for me. Like, ask me a Lanfear question. I'm good.
But the great captains are an important thing for the last battle. Yeah. And I have certain plot things happen regarding them. So, what you gonna do, Rafe? How you gonna? I suppose we can just. You really only need Little Wolf. What's his name?
You're asking me for names that I don't remember. Like...
You remember all the cast names. That's cool. I'm glad you do. But it are all day.
Okay.
It's what I'm not sure if that's what Robert Jordan called him in the notes. Little Wolf or Cunning Wolf, something like that.
I know what you're talking about, but it's like not somebody I care.
It or all day. You don't care about it or all. I love it or all day. He's awesome.
I'm not saying look. You only have enough brain space for. I like. Let's talk dreaming. Do you like how they've handled dreaming so far?
Sure. I mean, there's just not a ton. there. So yeah.
You want to see them? I'm assuming you want to see them bring in Teleron Riyadh.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But
Good.
I don't know how much of their budget they can spend on that, but
All of
I mean,
it.
they
Spend all of your budget on Teleron.
none of this. I mean, this all looked expensive. So they did a good job with their budget. So
Yeah, I'm kind of curious now, Taylor. Once we have that poll, I want to know if you all think that Lord Agomar is dead. What's that?
I have the poll.
Okay, well, how many people have voted so far?
700.
Wow. How many people are?
2,000.
There's 2,000 of you here. Okay, so 700
is that
voted.
counting not my
I
channel?
don't know how many's
either?
on yours. Yeah.
Our side.
That's just your side. Is Adam? Are you here?
Yeah.
How many are on our side?
Right now, it's dropped off to about 600.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So 700 of you. What do they think about Lord Agomar?
77% say yes.
yes, he's dead.
He's dead.
Dead.
Wow, I see.
Spear to the chest usually does the trick.
Yeah.
But there's maybe all the Aes Sedai did. I was like, but there's people that could. No, they couldn't heal them. He's not gonna
Pattern
get
level
to
event.
him. That's no. When I brought that up, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the blowing of the horn, all of what happens with the fight in the sky. I think Jordan said that was like an effect of the wheel, and so we called it a pattern level event.
Okay.
And so to
like
me,
that.
moment of like healing her, that's a pattern level event to me, because otherwise, like we're told like
Yep.
you can't bring back the dead like that, at least. So you're kind of giving me this looks.
Now because of
I'm trying to interpret your looks.
because of Lan in the last battle is why I'm giving you those looks.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So,
Okay. see.
certain things that I did there.
Now I have to go back and now I need to go back and read that part and see exactly, because I know what you're talking about, but I guess I didn't interpret it.
I have always said that I'm playing duplicitous on whether spoilers for the last
if you're
book.
here, walk away now,
Yeah.
because Brandon's about to throw some last book stuff at you.
So
Don't stick around if you don't want to hear any of this.
I played it coy on purpose whether Rand resurrected Lan or not
Okay.
in there, and it can be read either way.
Well, now I have to. Yeah. But I feel like you're leaning away.
You just keep talking about people being resurrected in pattern level events, and Rand was
know.
actively touching the pattern.
That's true. Yeah. There you go.
So
Pattern level event.
He was weaving the pattern in that book.
Yeah.
So
That works. That works. Taylor, what was did I ask you? I thought I asked you to throw out a poll about, oh shoot, now I can't remember what it was. Oh, Lord Agomar, yeah, you can end that poll.
can you only do yes and no questions?
No, you can do up to 4 answers.
Up to 4 answers?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I think a poll of
Get into this. The
of-
polls are fun.
of favorite episode.
Okay.
Like, have you done that before? Because
We have, how are we going to do, we have 4.
So you would do 1 through 4, and then you do a second one
Okay.
of 6 through 8, and just rank the what's your favorite of
Yeah.
1 through 4? 4 is going to win that. I'm more curious about
1 through 4, 5 through 8, and then say,
Like one dash,
yeah, do like 1-4 and 1, and then 5-8. Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
something like that.
You think 1-4 is going to win?
I think 4 is going to win. So it
7
might be
is so strong.
It might be better to ask what is your favorite 4, 5, 6, or 7.
Okay, you want to do that instead?
And then what's your favorite out of 1, 2, 3, and 8?
Okay, I like it. I like it. Okay,
is-
so yeah, like give us what's your favorite episode, and then do 4, 5, 6, and 7 as the answers.
Yes, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we'll do.
Taylor's getting into the polls. Brandon's getting into
We
the
can
polls
we
here.
can take off our head. Our
Oh yeah, we don't need to.
We don't need.
don't need to listen to that.
We don't need
oh,
to
yeah,
listen.
no. I don't know if I'm yelling or not, but
Yeah.
that's
So,
good. Of those, okay, so let's answer that question. So definitely of 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's 7 for me.
Yeah,
over
and it's
4.
4 for me, followed
Okay.
very closely by 7.
And then I mean it's easy. 1, 2, 3, 8. It's 3 for me on that. one.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 8. Yeah, I'm there with you. I
Yeah.
think. I really like episode 1, but 3 is stronger. 3 is stronger.
1,
It would be 3, 1, 2, 8 for me.
3, 1, 2, 8.
Yeah.
It's interesting for me. 1 and 8 are kind of paired, where I feel like there's really, really strong halves to them,
Yeah.
and then not as strong. There's like a weaker half to them. 1 and 8 have that for me, which I'm not totally surprised, because getting started and ending the Eye of the World was always going to be difficult.
It was going to be the biggest challenge the entire series had.
Yeah.
Was season 1.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Once you get into 2, you get Shadow Logoth, you start hitting some of those moments that, for me as a book reader, start to kind of pay off a little bit more.
Yeah.
1, though, I'm sorry, the attack is so good. The
It
attack
is
on the
good.
village is so good. So it
is good, but
I love the attack.
yeah, that's why I like it. That's why I'm
The
rating it.
Rand and Tam moment. So I mean, again, it's like like you
it's good.
said, it's still a really good episode. 8, the Rand section to me is
Episode 1 needed a half hour
strong.
more, and there was I don't know whatever came of this, but Rafe did push for a 90-minute pilot.
Which makes sense.
And
it feels like there's that missing.
that episode with 30 more minutes could be the top episode. But
Sure. Yeah.
you know,
No, it's true. They've shown some shots. They actually had some screenshots that they showed. I think it was one of the behind the scenes things of like Nynaeve looks like she has her own like home, whatever. It's like this shop, and she's talking to Egwene. So there's clearly other things that they never made.
I learned from Rafe that the scene that I pitched. So I pitched I in that first episode. I don't know if I wrote this in my Reddit thread or not. I pitched a couple of scenes. One was the whole Lan protecting Moiraine, the wall falling, and him protecting her, and things like that.
Yeah.
And him fighting while she's doing, and I just love how that turned out.
Yeah.
I'll be forever grateful to Rafe for actually putting something I suggested for the first time in anything in Hollywood. Someone took one of my suggestions, and it worked, and I was super happy with it.
By the way, that's how beta readers feel.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
when a comment makes it through
Yeah.
to you, and you're like,
yeah, I'm going to do that.
I'm going to do that. As a beta reader, you're like, there's this one comment I made.
Matt's
It's
one of
amazing.
my beta readers and has been for years. You were a beta reader on Towers of Midnight.
Yes.
Yes. So
there's a spot, I think it's in Towers of Midnight, where I still read it and I go, yes, thank you. I think you'd put like it was a comment I had made, and you'd put like a sentence or two in due to the comment, and that's like I'm always like, thank you for putting those 2 sentences in. I don't know, it made a difference, like you're saying.
much lesser important to me. I wasn't sad that but I said if you're introducing all the characters, you've shown Matt's kind of shall we say skeevy side in episode 1. Show that he's the clever one. Have him outwit a Trolloc. Have him, where that scene where he grabs his sisters. Yep. Have it be that he does something to trick a Trolloc away and then goes again. Just a really quick thing, but show Matt's clever. Matt's when push comes to shove, he can do something here. And he actually went and pitched that scene. And he said, I tried hard to get them to give me 5 extra minutes to put that scene in.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't budget it out. So,
yeah.
And, the realities, they've spent a lot of money on this. I can't really blame Amazon for being like, we got to stick to our budget. We can't let you be adding 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. They showed a lot of faith in this production.
Yeah.
I'm very, very pleased with the fact that they did. Like this could have turned out looking like the sort of Shannara show or the Legend of the Seeker, where you're like, oh, they're doing the best with what they have, instead of, wow, it looks like a movie, right?
Yeah.
And we got, wow, it looks like a movie.
The most cinematic scene has to be the cold open to 7. But I want to, Taylor, what was the answer to that one?
1,000 people voted, or just about.
Okay.
And 7 won with 52%.
Okay.
Smart.
35.
4 with 35.
4 with 35. Okay.
6 and 5 got nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
Really? Okay, but I get it. 7.
All right.
7. You put 7 and 4 in a poll. Those are gonna. Okay, give us the other side of that poll.
Yeah. Give us 1, 2, 3, and 8.
Yeah. What's gonna win with that one? This one's actually more difficult, I think.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of people actually rate 1 higher than I do, and
I've seen a lot of dislike of 1 online.
really, okay.
Yeah. Just people saying 1, but it also might just be that 1 is the place where everyone has to get used to the fact that this is not going to be a 1-to-1 adaptation.
Yeah.
They're either having to be like I said and be like, all right, different turning of the wheel, or they're having to say, this adaptation's not for me, or they're having to turn the switch in the brain that says, different kind of adaptation.
Yeah.
I will just live with that.
Yeah. No, for me, I think I got on the new turning idea like a year and a half ago.
I mean, it's just how it has to be. If you,
like, some people have used, you can go the mirror world route if you want. There's actually like 4 or 5 different canon metaphysics routes you can go on this.
I don't know why you would need the mirror world though thing, because different turning makes perfect sense within the lore. Now, some people are like, I didn't think that in the past these same characters had these same names and and things, but I've always read it that way, right? Otherwise, how would you in our time have legends of Tar Valon and Caemlyn and Merlin and like everyone, right? Morghese, Gawain and Galad. Like, how would you have all the Arthurian myths plus all these characters who were the Norse mythology and the Slavic mythology and things in you and my's age,
Right.
but them also have during their age Legends of John Glenn and Dear Abby or Anne
Right.
Landers or whoever.
Right,
That one's always weird to me because I'm like, that's a picture of who was popular when Robert
Yeah,
Jordan was working on the first
That
book.
one I was like, oh.
1, 2, 3, 8.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 8.
So just messed one up.
Okay.
Messed up a poll.
Yes, you messed up a poll. Taylor messed. It's a tradition at the Dusty Wheel to throw out a poll that makes zero
Like,
sense.
how would we have legends of them if these exact characters, these exact souls had lived lives similar to what they lived?
But and Jordan talks about it as basically the concept that once you get multiple turnings,
Yeah.
you are going to notice bigger differences as you kind of dig in and look in. So I can see. I mean, I have to go back and see what Jordan said specifically. But to me, the canon concept of new turning makes the most sense instead of going to a mirror world aspect of it. But you were always going to get that with an adaptation. Especially of book 1. What I have liked that they've done, one of my favorite parts is that they gave these characters like meaning and texture immediately.
Yes.
And that was always going to be creating some scenes, like getting to know each one of these characters. You're always going to create scenes that Jordan didn't give us. Because guess what? When Jordan took Rand back to his farm, everyone else didn't exist until Rand got there, and then they existed. So
right, no one had viewpoints until after Shader Logoth, right? That's when we start getting
once you
Karen
get the
viewpoints,
splits.
and then you start getting a few Egwene or Nynaeve viewpoints.
Yeah, you get Nynaeve, Perrin, and then Rand.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any other ones in book 1.
I don't know. I always get this wrong.
Was
so.
there another one? Let us know.
Luce Theron, obviously. Actually, that scene is almost omniscient. Is one of the weird things about it. It's Luce Theron's viewpoint, I think. Maybe it's whose viewpoint is it? Is it Ashamael's?
Yeah, because
Shamael gets described in a third person or in an omniscient viewpoint.
Because you have Luce Theron leave.
Yeah, and you still see
Ashamael there, right?
It's omniscient. The prologue's omniscient.
Interesting. I need to go back now.
Because all the wind scenes are omniscient. So there's a little bit of omniscience sprinkled through all of the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
So.
Taylor, what's the answer for this one? 1, 2, 3, and 8. I'm going to say 2. That's my guess.
That's your guess. People.
Yeah.
Like
What do you
2.
guess? Before Taylor tells us, what do you guess?
I'm going to guess 1.
Okay. Let's see if you guess.
It was the best one out of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to pick 3 though because you said 3's the
They're
best.
not gonna.
I did pick 3.
Oh
See?
well. I mean,
See?
look. No. That's not even a guarantee. They like disagreeing with me. So
How can
they love disagreeing with
3
me.
is a great episode. 3
Yeah.
is but no mustaches. I mean mustaches, but no mustaches.
I don't know why. That just doesn't bother me. Like stuff that's gonna bother me, like Teleron-Riad. Like how much money and emphasis is put in Teleron-Riad, how it comes across.
You're going to be like,
really
where's
get me.
Lanfear? More Lanfear.
I'm going to be like, yeah, what did you do to Lanfear? Yeah, like, yeah, don't mess up Lanfear is all I'm saying. That's I do have it's really funny because people forget that about me, which is I have very narrowly focused, exciting things, and they tend to be like Varen, Lanfear, Min, metaphysics. And then there's like, and so every once in a while people are like, doesn't this bother you? And I'm like, mustaches?
I'm joking about mustaches. I think you look that's a close enough interpretation of Tom in spirit.
Yeah, I liked
for me.
Alexandra did amazing. What do we? That was the answer for 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what was the breakdown for percentages?
oh yeah, that's a good question. Do you remember what the breakdown was percentage wise?
Go back.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
you-
3-1 ahead of that.
8 was 24%, 1 was 16,
Okay.
and 2 was 7.
Okay.
Okay.
So
actually,
they liked 8
8,
that
yeah.
second best. I'm glad that they did.
Yeah. Again, it's strong with Rand and Moraine.
And it is an improvement over Eye of the World's ending. And so
I'm going to ask that, Taylor. Do you think it improved? Ask that question. That'll be one of our last polls here. And then Brandon has to.
Because I have a soft out.
Yeah,
here.
Brandon has to kind of go. Everybody, ask everyone. Was this an improvement on the book ending? And say yes or no on that one. That'll be our last poll for tonight. Hey, thank you very much for doing this. I have no idea what everyone has thought about this, but hopefully you all enjoyed this. this was really great to kind of get your kind of behind the scenes view of what happened.
Yeah.
How excited are you for season 2?
I'm moderately excited. I'm more excited to get the last scripts because I think I've read 6 episodes of season 2. So
Nice.
I want to see.
Okay, so you know where they're going.
Oh yeah. So I want to get my last scripts. So I need to.
You want to see how they're going to end.
Yeah,
this
I want to go poke Rafe and get those last scripts. I want to be able to actually comment on the last episodes of next season because I didn't get to on this season.
Okay, tell me this then. What is the favorite change? While we get this poll answered, what was the favorite thing that you gave feedback on for season 1? When you watched the first 6 episodes, what was your favorite thing where you're like, I gave this feedback and I'm glad they went this way?
Oh, it's got to be the Lan Moiraine stuff, right? More for Lan to do. Lan, just. Yeah.
So because her getting injured and then having Lan
not
play.
just that, like this, like when you see in episode 1 where she is channeling and Lan is running around slaying Trollocs.
Right. That's
and then when the wall comes down, he dives over her.
That's right.
And there's some other subtle Lan things where like he's more like Lan.
Yeah.
In episode 1 or 2, there was a point where he threatened he was going to like kill the kids if they left or something like that. I'm like, you don't need to have that threat. Lan is threatening by being Lan. Lan does not need this extra step to be threatening. And he doesn't want to have to do this. Even in the kind of this, like, they're just things like that. Nudging Lan to be more like Lan and giving more to do was I think the thing I had the most influence over and the thing I'm most proud of.
Did you think that they did? I know getting Matt's voice was a struggle for you, the writing. Do you think that they did a good job?
Well, this is the thing is this isn't Matt yet, right? Matt doesn't become Matt till after the dagger.
Sure.
And so yes, they accelerated that. I didn't have any influence over that.
Yeah.
The only Matt thing I suggested was the thing that got cut that they didn't get to do, which show him being clever with the Trollocs.
Yeah.
I'd say my favorite change that overall, I think that not telling us who the dragon was ended up working really well.
Yeah.
Making it a reveal. I've still, in my head canon, the dragon can't be reborn as a woman, but they just don't know that in this turning.
Sure.
So that it stays continuity of the books. That's what I was talking about. Like with my own adaptations, we're talking about we can have things in the movies that even seem to contradict the books as long as they don't actually on the fundamentals contradict the books.
Gotcha.
Because then you can have a deeper canon in the books and you can have a more lighter, easier to track canon in the film and television show because you just can't dig into everything. So, but I spent a lot of time just saying, we can have certain things happen in the films and television show that don't have to contradict, and can leave it a little more ambiguous.
Yeah.
And Wheel of Time has a built-in way to do that with the turnings of the wheel and stuff. But I really think that landed. The moment where Rand says he's the dragon really lands.
Yeah.
And I would say beefing up, didn't really beef up Moiraine's role. They just actually wrote the thing she was doing when she was off screen. Just really works in this.
Totally agree.
They got a really strong actor to play Moiraine, and then gave her a lot to work with, and the show was much benefited from that.
Yeah.
Rosamund Pike just knocked it out of the park. She just that's like 1-to-1 in my head. That's Moiraine.
Yeah. She's come to embody it really well.
Yeah.
I love it. I just her interactions with Min.
Yeah.
I loved in episode 7. Taylor, what was the answer to that poll?
What's funny is it's pretty much 50-50.
Okay.
52-48.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fans, I'm not totally shocked that fans are kind of like, again, because like the things we talked about.
Which was this poll again?
This was, did they think that they did a better job of giving, like, better ending, basically, for the Eye of the World? So 50-50. That's how many people voted on that one?
You got 900.
See, about 1,000 of you. Thank you very much. By the way, thank you for being here. Again, I'll have to go back and check out the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We couldn't answer any of your questions. This is just kind of a unique thing that we're doing. We'll have to come back and do this one again.
Hopefully we'll do some more of these for season 2.
Yeah, for season 2, right? Yes, and congratulations to the Wheel of Time cast and crew. Honestly, they've been leading out streaming from the reports so far. So sounds like from a perspective of I think Rafe mentioned this in an answer in a question today. Just the idea that basically The Eye of the World, the book itself, is one of the best sellers now, and that more people know about this story. That's exciting for me as a book reader. Hopefully for those of you who are excited about that, more people around the world now know the Wheel of Time, and looking forward to season 2. Now we get to spend the next, for those of you that love this, we get to spend the next year breaking this thing down until we see season 2. I'm thinking it's a year. Some people are hopeful it's like 6 months. Who knows? We'll find out soon, hopefully. But thank you again, Brandon, for being here. This is awesome. I love it. And for those of you, again, be back. We'll be back here at the Dusty Wheel on Wednesday. Wednesday night, we'll be chatting with my good friends, Todd, Mary, and Natalia. It's been way too long since they've been here. I want to hear what they have to say about season 1. And everyone, enjoy, if you celebrate them, enjoy the upcoming holidays. And as we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel, and smash to black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you, you're already. You're just done. This is like, this is
really well.
Scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the 2 rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
sad.
not
I see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all of a sudden,
This is not just
like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guests in here with me, and
Probably I would say put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,